Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of Tier List Land on Five for Talking. I'm here with Caps, the captain of the show, and today is our playoff rankings. We're doing it right before the playoffs. I think this is the closest we've ever done it to the start of the playoffs without going over Price is Right rules. And we're gonna just jump into the tier list, and we're gonna tell you who's gonna win the cup. And if we're right, then we're the greatest, and if we're wrong, then you're wrong.
All right.
All right. Okay. Tier List Land. So we already eliminated all the teams that are out. We have these teams in order of who they're playing in the bracket. We will go up the ranking until we get there through the rounds. Winners of each series. So I had a question for Caps. Of all the teams that are out, pick one team from each conference who didn't make the playoffs that had the best chance of going somewhere in the playoffs.
I think for the West, probably Calgary. And for the East, um, maybe the Rangers.
You nailed what I was thinking, so that's fine. All right, let's
I
jump
mean,
in
it's such
quick.
an open-ended question. It's so hypothetical. Like it's,
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
you can. There's
it,
not really an
it's
answer.
yeah.
So the first
So
series here.
you can open it up to the comment section for anybody else that wants to answer that question as well. Because I think it
Yeah.
was a great question.
Also, is Chicago crap? Yes, they are. All right. Uh, oh my God. First for a first series, Winnipeg, St. Louis.
This is an interesting one. I mean, uh,
I'm seeing a
we
lot of
talked.
people call for upset.
Yeah, we were talking briefly about it, and I mentioned an upset. Um, but you know, St. Louis had a little bit of a dip towards the end of the season. It kind of picked it up in the last game of the season. Not sure if that game meant anything, but um, I think depending on what happens with Ehlers, and I think the Jets played their cards much better than they did last year towards the end of the season because they rested Hellebuck. I think I'm going to give the edge to Winnipeg on this one.
All right. So first round out, Winnipeg's in the next round. Colorado and Dallas.
Yeah, this is one of the more harder ones. Um, by the way, you didn't give me your perspective on the last series. Like,
So exactly what you said.
oh, okay. Um, this one is one of the more interesting ones. There's another interesting one in the East, but this one is going to be one of the more harder ones to predict. Um, I think in terms of being healthy and depending on what happens with Langeskog. I'm going to give the edge to Colorado on this one. And the reason why I'm giving the edge to Colorado is because Dallas has sustained quite a few injuries in the last little bit. We don't know what's going to happen with Jason Robertson. Um, we don't know what's happening with him. Sagan just came back, and I haven't really seen how he looks.
He's pretty useless, just on a general basis to begin with. So,
So yeah, I mean, I think what Colorado has been able to do this past season has been great, and I think I'm going to go with Colorado on this one. This is just my pick, but
okay. So if well, given the fact that Landeskog is probably coming back, um, according to a lot of reports, I mean, we don't know anything for sure, especially with Colorado. You literally don't know. They're basically the new version of Tampa Bay slash Vegas of just like, oh, people are appearing in their lineup. How did they afford that? So I don't know. I'm kind of mixed here because I think if you look at it roster wise, minus the injuries, I know there's injuries, so we have to count them at some point, but I think Dallas would beat Colorado. I think goaltending and defense and depth of lineup, Dallas is way better than Colorado.
and I wouldn't agree with I wouldn't disagree with that because when you look at it on paper, Dallas should probably beat them, and they have one of the deepest teams in NHL. But yeah, that's just
I'm
what I
I
think.
I think I might go opposite of this. but I don't disagree to a big enough extent that I think I should change it.
That's why you're a great guy.
Um, the Leafs are going to beat Ottawa.
Thank you for
Five,
thank you
games.
for allowing me to stay away from that one because
Five games.
I don't want to comment on that.
I think this is the Leafs team that's ready to, at least for once, show that the first round is going to be zero issues.
For anybody out there that thinks that Toronto's just going to like wipe them out, I don't think that's necessarily just going to happen. I think
No,
Ottawa's going to, give them a run for their money,
of
and it
course,
should
but
be a very entertaining series.
I just think that
But
the Senators are winning one game. By the way, those ticket prices, you know why it is that way, right?
oh, tell me, maybe you should tell everyone like what I sent you. Yeah,
So the cheapest tickets available for the Leafs is like 350, and the cheapest price for the Senators is like 450. And the reasoning is because they don't want Toronto fans to go to Ottawa to watch the game.
and they're going to go anyway.
Yeah. Um yeah. I mean, I don't think that's. I think that's going to be fine. Ottawa's going to be a really good team. I've been saying that for years. Caps never agrees with me, but I think now he has no choice but to agree with me.
I think what they were able to do this year is really good, and they probably should have been able to do that last year. But
Hmm.
better late than never, I guess. They're still a really young team, and some of the trades they made at the deadline just made them better. So they're going to be good for years to come.
Florida, Tampa Bay.
This is the other opposite of the West. This is the other interesting series. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of health issues with Florida right now. We don't know what's happening with Matthew Tkachuk. We don't know if Barkov is 100%. We don't know um, if Bennett is 100%. Seems like they're all going to be back for game one. And I believe Ekblad, will be back in game three. If they are 100%, I'm going to have to give Florida the edge on this one. But Tampa Bay's looked really good. Tampa Bay's been playing very well, and Vasilevsky has turned back the clock a little bit. And I talk as if he's old, but he's not. But side note, I hope they kick the crap out of each other to the point where they are not able to survive round two.
Given the fact that there is no real home advantage, and Tampa Bay's fan base is probably a lot bigger and stronger than Florida is. I would say Tampa Bay, but it's so close. It's such a close margin, like Colorado and Dallas. If you feel Florida, I would be willing to accept Florida.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one. And if you want to give it to Tampa, I'm not going to argue with you on that because
And
it's definitely a hard one.
I think it might go 7 games.
That I agree with.
So it depends, right? Like it's hard to judge this. And
it's going to be a hard fought series.
To be fair, I don't know if I have either one of these teams personally anymore in my cup final situation. So I'm really okay with either one of them winning. I do think Florida will beat them in the sense that if they're fully healthy, it will happen. But we don't even know anything. There's no information at all. So how can I judge them without knowing what's happening, right?
And they won't reveal any of that stuff. And the playoffs start tomorrow anyway. But we won't know. So
you know what? Let's go Florida. Let's go Florida.
Okay.
Defending champions. Let's go Florida. Vegas versus Minnesota. I don't really even want to talk about this. I think Vegas easily wins the series. Minnesota was a team that didn't expect to be great this year. They had an amazing first half to the season. We thought, wow, these guys are blowing it away. Then the second half came back to reality, and they don't look that good. I think St. Louis looks better than Minnesota.
Hey.
Okay, that was easy. I'm taking the upset here, and I think the Kings win.
I don't call it an upset.
Okay. Well, I mean, in terms of like expectations, I think it's an upset.
Yeah. Okay. I just feel as though Edmonton is not the team that they were last year. Edmonton has regressed. They have some injury issues. Um, McDavid, I mean, people call McDavid having a down year. Guy had like 100 points in like 60 some odd games. But I just think that LA is a better team this year than Edmonton.
Hmm.
I think they have home ice advantage, don't they?
I don't know. Hold
Because if
on.
that's the
I had it
case,
open. I had it open. I'm just opening it.
if that's the case, yeah,
LA has
Kings have,
home ice.
and they're a better home team.
Yeah. And also, I think after the stupid move that Darnell Nurse did the other day, they lit a fire under LA. And I'm not saying this in a way that I think it's the right thing to do or should happen, even though as a hockey player, I think it is. When that first game starts, you're gonna have a goon patrol trying to kill Draisaitl and McDavid. 100%. There's no way I'm not going out there and my first shot is to take a dirty elbow to Connor McDavid's head after what they
Mm-hmm.
did, what Darnell Nurse did. That was so disgusting. Like as soon as he's suspended, I believe, but as soon as he steps on the ice, he's gonna get into a fight. Like he's gonna have to go through 3 fights that night.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
if he
it was
wherever
a
he
pretty
does,
dirty move.
yeah. So I mean that's just hockey. But I do think the Kings are gonna win.
I'm going to side with you on this because I just don't think Edmonton's playing that great this year.
They also have no goalie. They might as well just have an empty net.
Mm. I don't
Um,
think Drysdale was like 100% either.
they're both. I'm pretty sure they're both injured. But like, let's neither here nor there. Capitals versus Canadians. A lot of people are calling for upset in this series. I call Shanana guy on that. I do not believe.
Well,
Uh,
maybe I can make an argument for this. Um, Logan Thompson's injured. The starting goalie's injured.
yes, but the backup
Um,
goalie is also good.
yeah, but you also have John Carlson, who's also injured at this point. Um, and I don't know whether or not it's because Ovechkin was trying to break Gretzky's record, but they were not playing very well in the last 5-6 games of the season. I think they got schooled from something like 7-0 or something like that. But um, it's just like they were not playing very good hockey. Maybe because they got the monkey off their back and now they can concentrate on just playing well again. But um, you know, when you factor in John Carlson, Logan Thompson being injured, uh, two key contributors to the team and their success, and Montreal being on the rise, you know, it's a. I think what I'm trying to say is that it's a more difficult prediction than we thought it would be. But I wouldn't disagree with you if you picked Washington to be the winner. I just don't think it'd be as easy as everybody thinks it is.
I think Montreal wins a game in Montreal. That's it.
I mean, hey,
Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I've been behind the scenes just going nuts researching here. And like I've been thinking about this the whole time. I don't think Florida can beat Tampa Bay. If they don't get everybody back from injuries, they don't. I don't even think they have a chance of beating Tampa Bay.
and the injuries do factor, but I'm saying like a healthy Florida, I think Florida wins. But I'm just
But
saying because of
at
the
this
fact that
point, there's no Barkov in the lineup.
he was resting all his guys. He's resting all his guys. Yeah, you're like we don't know if they're
Okay,
actually
well we'll leave
injured.
Florida. We'll leave Florida, defending champions.
No. I'm just saying
No,
it's
we should.
I'm it's up to you what you think because I'm not going to argue either. They're like
Like
either or. It's
I
hard.
think we're witnessing right now in this matchup coming up the biggest pretenders in the entire NHL, which are the New Jersey Devils. They
The
have
biggest.
no pretenders. They have no business going anywhere in the playoffs, and they're stuck
Um,
facing Carolina.
I mean, I'm going to pick Carolina because of the injuries to the Devils. Like
I don't even think a healthy Devils team beats Carolina.
I think Dougie Hamilton just came back, but Hughes is gone, right?
Yeah.
Hughes is gone until December, I believe. Which and Nico Hirscher is like kind of injured at this point right now too. Yeah, I'm picking Carolina on this one.
All right, we're in the second round. Winnipeg versus Colorado. I easily no, I don't think the series will be easy, but it's an easy choice for me to pick Winnipeg.
Um, I
I
mean,
just don't think Colorado can hang with the physicalness of Winnipeg.
I also don't think that Winnipeg can handle the scoring prowess of
Of one
Colorado.
line.
No, I think they're deeper than what you think they are, man. But
Winnipeg is deeper
I
than
will not I will go with Winnipeg with you on this one. That's fine.
I think Winnipeg is far deeper than Colorado.
They don't even have a second line center.
What do you need centers for? What do they do? Who's the second line center on Colorado? Casey
I don't
Middlestat?
know. Stop it. But yeah, let's go for it.
All right, next one.
If it was Toronto versus Tampa Bay, I'd probably go Toronto, but because now we have Florida there, I'm going Florida. I'm sorry.
I think the Leafs beat them.
Yeah, I don't.
If your
I don't know.
thought process, this is what I'm going to say to you, and I don't care about you being superstitious or whatever. If the thought process here is that the Leafs would beat Tampa Bay, and we just had to negotiate so much that I had to go back and research to come back and think that Tampa Bay might actually beat Florida, then the Leafs are definitely beating Florida.
I historically Toronto's never been able to handle Florida, but
Oh, I forgot Colorado has Brock Nelson. I'm sorry.
yeah, exactly. Um, uh, you just threw me off.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. That just happened in my head. I didn't even see it. It just literally
It's
happened in my head.
yeah, no, it's because it goes back to all the really great things that Colorado's done this year, like all the changes. But Toronto historically has never been able to handle Florida. They don't know what to do with them, but for some reason, they are exceptional against Tampa Bay. Um, that's based on the past and how they've been able to play against each other. That's my argument. These are predictions. That's what I think. I don't know.
I think the Leafs win. Do you want to flip a coin?
You got one on you?
I absolutely do not. I haven't had change since
Do we
like the
have one?
80s.
Is there a website that virtually flips a coin? Probably is. Flip a coin.
All right.
I'll take heads.
All right. Heads it is. The Florida Panthers win on a technicality. Okay. Vegas and LA.
I'm taking Vegas.
Yeah. If a fully healthy Vegas is too good for the Kings. And Darcy Kemper is not the reason that Colorado won the cup that year. Not saying that he's bad, but
Played the whole finals, but
yeah.
he did his job.
Yeah.
I guess. Washington versus Carolina.
Listen, you're gonna not like this, but I think that if Washington gets healthy, I think Washington wins.
I'm not going to disagree, and the only reason why I say is because for some odd reason, Carolina gets to a certain point, and they just can't. They can't push through. Like it's like either the second round or the conference finals. Like they just don't push through that. So I'll go Washington.
Here we go. This is for all the beans.
Yeah, these are tough. I'll see. Like, it all depends on Hellebucker and whether he's able to sustain what he's been able to do up until this point, if he's able to handle this much pressure and the workload. Um, this is tough. Um, I'll go Winnipeg. What the hell?
Hold on. So Vegas won 2 out of the 3 matchups this season. And every single game was both of the losses for Winnipeg were close, and when they did win, they blew them out 4-0. So I'm gonna go Winnipeg.
Okay.
I'm already upset that Florida made it this far, and I think it's Ovi's year. I'm not like it's a WW finals.
I'll I mean that it's tough. It's already tough as it is. I'll roll with you on this one.
Listen, I'll break down a little argument here. The Montreal Canadiens and then the Carolina Hurricanes, right? Florida's going to have to get through Tampa Bay and Toronto to get where they are. And I already don't even agree that Florida, if Florida stays injured, should have made it this far. So to me, if you want my honest opinion, I think it's Washington or the Leafs in the finals. I'm not saying the Leafs win the cup. I'm just saying I think that's how it goes. And I think in the West, all 3 of those teams lined up are probably best shots. Winnipeg, Vegas, Colorado to make it in the West. But I would favor Winnipeg, especially, well, the way we broke it down, it kind of makes sense. I think Capitals having the easier row and them being such a solid overall team, having good goaltending, a good penalty kill, good power play, and Florida's probably going to be destroyed at this point. Plus, we don't even know if their people come back. Are they even actually healthy?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the fun side of making predictions based on information that's not really available to us. Um,
I have Winnipeg winning their first cup.
who is getting the President's Trophy?
Winnipeg.
I'm taking Capitals because historically, President's Trophy winner never
All right, we'll leave
wins
it there.
anyway.
We won't even just. I say Winnipeg, you say Capitals. We both say Leafs. This is like the hardest tier list we've ever had to do, even though it seemed like it was really easy. And also, I'd like to say that now that we've made it this far, I don't even know if I agree with what our choices are.
I, you know what? You read my mind, and I'm looking at it, and it's like, so am I allowed to say who I think is going to win?
Go.
Colorado.
Am I allowed
But
to say
that's,
who I think is going to win?
of course, you are. This is your show.
One of those 2 teams in the finals. I think I genuinely think this is like a
It's the
team.
hardest one,
Washington is a team playing for a man to cement his legacy as one of the greatest of all time.
and
And
you probably
Winnipeg
won't
is a
even
team,
retire.
huh?
He probably won't even retire after the season. I think he's coming
That's what I'm
back for another
saying. But I
season.
think this is like his last real chance of doing this, right? This
Mm.
the team being as good as they are was like an absolute masterclass of off-season moves. And Winnipeg is a team playing for a city that
Needs it.
is desperate for a win in anything other than the CFL, right?
I
Like,
mean, Hellebuck is really trying to push himself to get this
and
championship.
he's been a
He
top
really
2
wants it.
goalie for the last fucking 5 years between him and Vasilevsky. It's like a toss up because then I would say Shesterkin and the Sorokin are like pretty close
Well,
in the
can I make
next
another
tier.
prediction?
Go ahead.
I think Hellebuck gets the MVP this year as well
That's
because
fair.
he's playing like it.
You want my prediction?
Of course.
I think Tampa Bay beats Florida and then the Leafs beat Tampa Bay. And then the Leafs beat Washington and the Leafs make it to the finals.
Okay, so who wins the championship with a
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg? Okay, so
Winnipeg.
I mean,
I would be so happy if the Leafs made the finals and lost 4-0. I would be happy because it's just progression. We're showing that we can do it.
I don't want to turn this into a Leafs episode, but if if the Leafs make it to the finals, okay, hold on. Let me paint a picture for you. If the Leafs um get eliminated in the first round, does Marner resign?
No.
If Leafs make it to the second round, does Marner resign? Or it's Leafs make it to the yes. If Leafs make it to the second round,
If the second round is close, then yes. If they get blown out, then no.
if and then I guess my last question is if the Leafs make it to the finals, does he resign?
100%.
Okay.
Also, though, I think the question goes both ways. You're leaning a little too much into the player, where I think that, like, if the Leafs lose in the first round, do I want to re-sign Mitch Marner? If the
It was
Leafs
just
lose
a
in the second
yeah,
round, do I want to re-sign? Because think about what you can do with that $14 million. I can go sign two $7 million players and have one of the best third lines or second lines in the NHL, or I can go out and spend money on someone huge. Because guess whose contract comes up soon? Yes, Connor McDavid.
yeah. I mean, yeah, fair point. I guess like from their perspective, like they have a little more flexibility next year, and they can
And
probably
they have
sign.
time right now with the new contracts, especially if you
But
get Tavares back on a low contract. Let's just say McDavid's not this year, it's the year after, I think, right?
I believe so.
So you sign two $7 million guys on 1 year contracts to just fill out your roster. And then you just wait till the next year and you throw everything you have at Connor McDavid.
Yeah, logically, if the Edmonton Oilers are having down years, uh, if the Edmonton Oilers get kicked out of the playoffs in the first round and they have a down year next year, I think logically McDavid is more inclined to look at other options. So
I think this year is going to be a huge indicator. If they lose
yeah,
in the first round, like we said, I think he's already planning to walk.
yeah, well, yeah. I didn't want to go too much into it, but these are pretty good takes, and I don't want
Yeah,
to take
we're a
away
lot of
from our
speculation here, but I'm not
yeah,
upset with what we have in the finals.
but
I also not upset with Vegas being in the conference finals. I disagree a little bit with Florida. If Florida is healthy, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, if Florida's healthy, that's my take. But I don't know if
and,
they're going to be healthy.
and that would be my take too, because it all depends on their health, like you
And
said. Yeah.
Florida versus Winnipeg would be a wicked series.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, I agree.
All right. Anyways, thank you for watching. Let us know how stupid we are in the comments below because you will anyways. And subscribe. Subscribe.